The rain had started before dawn, thin and persistent, tapping against the apartment windows like a quiet warning no one wanted to hear. Seattle wore its familiar gray coat that morning, the sky hanging low and heavy, as if it already knew what this day would take from two people who once believed they would grow old together. Ethan Cole stood in the living room, duffel bag open on the couch between scattered cushions that still carried the shape of shared evenings. His movements were slow, deliberate. Each folded shirt felt heavier than the last, not because of fabric, but because of memory. 5 years of living together couldn't be packed into a single bag, no matter how carefully he folded Harper Lane. Stood near the doorway, arms crossed loosely, not in defense, not in anger, but in uncertainty. She didn't know what to do with her hands, or her eyes, or the words lodged painfully in her throat. The silence between them wasn't new. It had been forming for months, settling into corners of the apartment where laughter used to live. Ethan didn't need her explanation. He had known long before this morning. He had felt it in the late nights, the distracted smiles, the way her laughter had changed, lighter, sharper, belonging to somewhere else. "I don't want this to be ugly," Harper finally said. Her voice floated across the room, fragile and tired, not tired from lack of sleep, but from decision, from choosing, and hoping the cost wouldn't be too high. Ethan paused mid-fold, then nodded once. "It won't be." And he meant it. There was no anger in him, no shouting, no desperate questions. Something inside him had already accepted the truth. She loved someone else. Or if not love, then the life that came with him. Nathan Hale. The name tasted unfamiliar but heavy. He had seen it before on her phone, lighting up late at night. In stories she told too casually and smiles she forgot to hide. "Ethan," Harper said quietly, "I never wanted to hurt you. People always said that after the damage was already done." Ethan didn't point that out, didn't accuse her or demand reasons she no longer wanted to give. Instead, he zipped the bag slowly and set it upright. "When did it start?" he asked, his voice calm in a way that unsettled her more than anger ever could. Harper looked down. "I don't know exactly. Maybe. Maybe when things got harder for you. You were stressed, distant, and Nathan he was just there. Made everything feel easy." Ethan almost smiled at the irony. Life rarely rewarded steadiness. It rewarded flash, ambition, illusion. He wasn't glamorous, didn't have penthouse views or rooftop parties. He had discipline, modest savings, and dreams built slowly instead of loudly. But he had loved her. "Are you leaving because of him?" Ethan asked softly, "or because something's missing here?" Harper swallowed. "Both. I want more from life, Ethan. I don't want to feel like I'm standing still." "You don't want a simple life," he finished. She didn't deny it. "You made your choice," Ethan said, lifting the bag, "and I won't stand in your way." Harper blinked, startled. She had prepared for tears, accusations, a storm. Instead, she found quiet acceptance. And for reasons she didn't understand yet that frightened her. "You're not even going to fight," she whispered. He met her eyes. Fighting would mean there's something left to save. The rain thickened outside, streaking the glass like blurred outlines of the future they once imagined. Ethan slipped on his coat and walked to the door. "Where will you go?" she asked. "I'll figure it out. Please don't disappear." Paused, hand on the doorframe. "I won't disappear. But I won't stay where I'm not chosen." The door closed softly behind him. Not a slam. Not a rupture, just an ending. Down the stairwell. Ethan walked with steady steps, holding on to the last fragments of his dignity. His heart was breaking, but his silence stayed intact. By the time he reached the street, the rain met him like an old companion. He inhaled deeply, shoulders trembling, but he didn't wipe his eyes. He had left quietly, and somewhere above. Harper stood frozen, realizing that her choice didn't feel like victory. Not yet, not ever. Long before the rain soaked. Morning, when everything ended, there was a beginning so gentle that neither of them could have imagined how it would unravel. It started in a crowded lecture hall at the University of Washington. Fluorescent lights hummed overhead as students shuffled in half awake. Ethan sat alone, a sketchbook open, pencil moving with quiet precision. Harper noticed him immediately. "You always draw during lectures?" she asked, dropping into the seat. Beside him, "It helps me think," he said, startled but smiling. That moment became a hinge in both their lives. Study sessions turned into late-night conversations. Coffee runs became rituals. Ethan found peace in Harper's energy. Harper found safety in Ethan's steadiness. After graduation, Seattle became their shared world. They moved into a small Capitol Hill apartment, cramped, noisy, imperfect, but the city had gravity. It pulled Harper toward ambition and visibility. Networking events, rooftop parties, a world Ethan only watched from the edges. At first, she came home glowing with stories. Later, she came home late. Status crept. And quietly, Instagram changed. Conversations thinned. And one night, Ethan realized something was slipping away. He cooked her favorite pasta, waited, watched her story instead. Nathan was there, close enough to matter. The drift wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, invisible, dangerous. They survived 9 years together. But they did not grow in the same direction. The confirmation came quietly, too. A message on her tablet. A timestamp. Weeks. Ethan didn't yell, didn't accuse. He packed. Harper panicked at his calm. "Say something." She begged. "You already did," he replied. She chose a world built on appearance. He chose dignity. Years passed. Harper learned that glamour had conditions, that affection could be transactional. That applause faded quickly when performance stopped. Ethan learned how to breathe again. He rebuilt slowly, quietly. Peace came, not as celebration, but as relief. They met again years later at an architecture gala. Ethan stood whole. Harper stood broken. "I made a mistake," she whispered. "I know," he said gently. "Is there any way back?" His silence answered her. "Some endings don't need anger. They need acceptance." Ethan walked forward. Harper stood still, and that was the final truth.